So hello, for the third video of this series, I would like to talk about the basic function of LyX software and also some of the settings or some of the things that you should do when you start on the FYP writing. So basically, what you want to do is you open the FYP Main.lyx, and this is the file that you will see. So basically, what you need to do here is change some of these things appropriately. So title 1, title 2, title 3 is basically just your title, but in 3 different lines. So why we have title in 3 different lines is basically because sometimes when your title is too long, so I will generate it, a preview. So yeah, to preview, click on this the error occur again. The error occur because there is no references, so just randomly add one, and yeah, we should have the references already. I mean, it should generate appropriately already. Then yeah, the double I symbol here is for you to make a preview, but without the proper PDF file. But if you want the proper PDF file, you can go File, Export PDF. So this is just a quick recap for this first video. Okay, so as you can see here, title line 1, 2, and 3 is basically all of this. So if your title is too long, then it will actually overflow this whole entire line. So it will like goes out the margin of the whole paper sometimes. So if your title is too long, then you can manually split them into line number 2 and line number 3 if necessary. If you only use 2 lines, then the third line you can just leave it blank. Then our name is your name, your student ID, department. If you are not in mechanical, you can change it. And academic year, supervisor, your own supervisor. This is the particular of your supervisor, so your supervisor education background probably. And you can refer to get this information, you can refer it to our academic directory. It should be there written, and for every supervisor. And the Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering, you can change it if you're not mechanical. And date of signature is the date of your submission actually. So because in this here declaration, in your third page of your FYP main, you need to sign, you need to have your own signature, and this date of signature is actually the date where you sign this declaration form. So most of the time I put this as the date of my submission. So if you want to put it on the first day that you write the report also can. I mean, it's not wrong because this is the date where you sign this declaration form. Regardless, this is what you need to change. And here, okay, here is where it depends on are you writing for FYP1 or FYP2, so the proposal or thesis. If you are writing FYP1, which is the proposal, then you will need to use the proposal front page. If you are writing for FYP2, you need to use the thesis front page. So yeah, if you want to use the proposal front page, then you want to disable the thesis front page. Basically, you just put a percentage sign in front of this thesis front page command. So this disable the thesis front page and you will generate a proposal front page. If you want to use the thesis front page for FYP2, then you disable the proposal front page. So yeah, this is all that you need to change manually for your FYP lah, basically. Okay, so continuing on that, okay, I would like to teach you guys on how to actually use LyX software, at least all of the basic function. Getting familiarized with most of the thing here, not everything, but most of the thing here, so that you guys can write the report basically. So okay, first thing first is adding chapters, adding section, and also using lists, basically number list. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean you can write it like that, but this is not proper list. Okay, so yeah, back to it first. First thing is chapter and sectioning. So chapter and sectioning is basically tied to your font style, font style. So depending on your font style, it will be treated either as chapter or section or subsection or subsection. So let's say let's say here, presumably I want to add another chapter. Let's say. So to add another chapter, what I do is enter for the new line, and then here, this is actually your font basically. So standard is the standard text font, the font that you will use to write your report. If you want to add a chapter, you can click on this drop down list and you can see there is sectioning and also unnumbered. So just everything without the star and everything with a star symbol here. So what are the differences between these two? This sectioning part, which is without the star one, is numbered, which means if I use this one, it will automatically add me the number of the chapter. So chapter 6, maybe I say this is my test. I don't know. Just for as an example. So this is my numbered chapter because my chapter is automatically numbered based on the place that it is placed. So if I want to add a section which is number as well, then I can use section without the star. Then this will be added as the section already. So number section test, basically like that. So yeah, then you can write anything here. Or if you want to add, let's say subsection, you can do that as well. So subsection number, something like that. So this is how you add the chapter and sectioning. Then yeah, the differences between this numbered and unnumbered is unnumbered here. You see, even when I click it, there is no chapter 7 appearing. So this is what the unnumbered chapter actually means. Unnumbered chapter is usually used, I mean, if you see here, you can see it is for your appendix, for your subsection, for your section, appendix, for your abstract, for your acknowledgement. So yeah, all of those basically. So similar as to the numbered one, you can add chapter, you can add section, you can also add subsection basically. So you can also add subsection. So yeah, wow. Okay, so then you can write anything, normal text, you can write anything, based on your own lah. So okay, here, if you use number section, which is most probably what you would do if you want to add a new section. Let's say if I want to differentiate between my result and discussions chapter, then what I can do is I can add a chapter here. So let's say I can add chapter discussion here, then this is my result, it's my text. So yeah, you can add your section on your own, but this is what you will do. So as you can see just now, when we don't have this chapter, your chapter 5 is automatically your conclusion. But when I add this extra chapter here, your conclusion automatically becomes chapter 6. So this number is actually automatic. So you don't need to care about the numbering, you just use appropriately this thing. And one thing to note is, as you can see here, for the sectioning, 1, 2, 3, 4, for chapter 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 makes sense. But if you see, as you continue to chapter 2 or further chapter, as you can see, the sectioning the numbering for the sectioning just continues, so 6 to 7. So here you also don't need to worry, because why? When you generate it, this will automatically become 1.1 to 1.6, and here it will change to 2.1 and 2.2. So as an example, if we preview it in the table of content, yeah, you can see 1.1 to 1.6, 2.1, 2.2. So they will automatically change it for you, so you don't need to worry about it. And yeah, then here comes the part that we should talk about more. So yeah, for number chapter is usually when you want to add another chapter for your content because you feel like it is necessary to add them, or you want to add section or subsection. Yeah, usually you will use the number one in your content. Then for the unnumbered chapter, it is usually when you want to add appendixes. Yeah, like you have more than one appendixes, so you want to add another one, you will use the unnumbered section. And for unnumbered chapter, sometimes, let's say if you want to add, let's say, should be after that, right? Yeah. So maybe you want to add another chapter before chapter 1. So you need to use the unnumbered chapter. And maybe this is a list of symbols. So you can do that. And this is usually the unnumbered chapter. So the chapter with the star. However, there's a problem with using the unnumbered one. It is because all of these unnumbered chapter and section would not be automatically added into your list table of content. So as you can see here, after chapter 7, I should have one more chapter before I reach my this is your references and this is your appendix. So before I reach my reference and appendix, I should have one more chapter, but it didn't appear here. Why? Is because unnumbered chapter is not automatically added into your table of content, so you need to add one line of code for it to add it in. So the line of code you can see, you can actually just copy here if you want. So what I do is copy it here, and if your level is chapter, then here is chapter. This here you just change it to the name of the chapter that you put lah. So here. Then if it is for section, here you change it to section. The chapter you change to section. So maybe a number section test. Then for subsection, also the same, you change this thing to subsection. So here, yeah, section test. So let's say here, yeah, here, if you want to use list of symbol, it is on the level of chapter. Then here, you just change it to list of symbols. This is an example. You don't need to do it. I mean, you don't. It depends on you. Do you want to put this list of symbol or not? But yeah, this is an example of why you might use this basically. So yeah, we save it and we generate it again, preview it again. Yep, you should see list of symbol appear, and yeah, here in your table of content, your list of symbol appear, your unnumbered chapter also now appearing, and in the right level as well. So this is what you need to do if you add in unnumbered chapter. So that is for chapter and sectioning. And for list, of course, list you can also use this one, which is itemize and enumerate. Description is something that I didn't use up until now, and I'm not sure what it is for, so I'm not going to describe it. But this tool is the one that you can use to add to make a list, or you can press these two buttons as well. So I usually press these two buttons. So if you want a numbered list, you can see here you can see the symbol itself, and in the name it is numbered list. So yeah, you can just add it in, and this is your list. And if you want to add another level to it, same as Microsoft Word or like other text software, you can just tap and it will add the level. But of course, there is a limit to it, which is there. So this is the limit. So if you want to add more than this, then I'm not sure how to change the symbol, but hopefully you don't use more than it. So yeah, that's all for it. And for non-number list, which is list with only symbols, you can also do that with this button, itemize list. And similar to the numbered one as well, you can just keep tapping until a certain level it will be broken, basically like this. So hopefully you won't use the list up until a very like deep list at least. So yeah, but this is how you add the list. So that is all for list. Just a straightforward and easy to use function. Now we go to the more confusing one probably, which is how to add figure, table, and also equation properly in a proper manner, I would say. So for table and figure, it is most likely the same step because they are almost the same kind of thing. For equation, it is a little shorter, I would say. It is a little less step, but yeah, it is different but less step. So we can see later on. So before I talk about how to add them inside your LyX software itself, what I want to recommend you to do when you add, especially for figures, is in your folder itself, I mean in your folder with everything else here, you make a new folder. Basically, it's just for your figures. So that whatever figure you use in your report, you need to save a physical picture, I mean the physical file of it here. So yeah, why? Is because later on I will explain when I do it here. But you need to save the physical file of it, and the best way for you to save it without making it messy is you make a file so that everything that you put inside this LX file, your report, is all within one folder. So yeah, it is easier to organize that way. So now let's learn how to. This is just yeah, this is just a recommendation, recommended practices. You can use it or you cannot, your choice. So now let's learn how to add the figures, table, and equation. So for figures and table first. So to add figures and table, the first thing that you need to add is what we call as the figure float and table float. So this is more like formattings for LaTeX or LyX software. So just follow through lah, basically. So to add the figure float, you can press on this button, insert figure float. So you just click it, and this is what we call as a figure float. For table, also the same, which is just on the side of the figure float, insert table float. Here we go. So this is the figure float, this is the table float. Basically, this comes with your figure labeling and table labeling formatting as well lah. So for equation, there's no float for you to add, so I'm going to skip that float part for now. After you add the float, what we will do is we're going to add, of course, our figure. Oops, or your table, sorry. So figures and table. So for equation, you just add equation or what we call as math, basically. Yeah, figure should be called as graphic if I'm not mistaken. So regardless, here you can write your figure labeling, basically figure labeling and your table labeling. Okay, so for figures, you add the figure on top of your figure labeling, and how to add the figures is basically here, this button. Click on insert graphics. So you insert it, and the moment you click it, it will pop up this window. So in this window, as you can see, you at the very least need the file path of the figure, and also yeah, you can set the percentage, I mean how big is the figure with this tree, one of these three, and all wait, yeah, no, the rest of the thing is just additional function that you want, I mean you can play around with, but this is the basic thing. So let's say yeah, let's say I want to put the tar UMT figure. So I first need to have the tar UMT figure inside, I mean the physical file itself. So maybe I put it in this figure file. So when I want to insert it in, I'll need to click the browse button, click my figure file, and click this picture. So yeah, then for figures, usually I will recommend to set a width of not more than 15 centimeter because if I'm not mistaken, 15 centimeter, it will also be bigger than your margin already, but it is not that visible yet. So at the very least, try not to set more than 15. For now, I just set 14.5, let's say. So apply, close. Here is your figure already. Now, the reason why you need to save a physical file here is because in LyX software, it didn't save it didn't upload the actual figure itself into its own software. Instead, it's only saved the file path for the figure. So let's say if I delete the figure now, you can see the file is not found because it didn't save the figure itself, it's only saved the file path here. So if I restore it, it will restore back automatically. Which is why it is important to save the file of the thing inside a folder, because when you have a lot of figure and if you don't have this file and if your figure is even worse, scattered around multiple files, multiple folders, then it is a mess if you want to change your photo or if you want to find the photo actually. So you either save it in one place, recommended practices, save everything in one folder, in one places, so that when you want to change it, it is more easier to do that. So why let's say I give you guys an example. I'm going to copy, let's say, a figure something into my here. So let's say I copy this figure right here, and let's say I want to change my figure of I want to change my TiUMT figure into this thing. So one way is you can also, of course, change it into manually change it here. Or if let's say these two picture is maybe I see rename it. Let's say I want not rename it yet, but let's say this is the newer version of your photo. So I don't know, maybe you want it to be, what can I do here basically? Maybe you want the background to be I don't know. Well, in the case, so let's say you have a newer version of this same picture that you want to actually upload. So what you can do is you can change it manually here as well. But if you don't want to open your, you don't want to change it here, you can also try to change it in the file itself. So you can delete the TiUMT file and you rename this thing as the TiUMT.png. So now it will automatically update as the new picture here. So this is one advantage of LaTeX. If you use it well, you can update your picture very fast, instantly almost, just by changing the file itself. So that's the thing of it. And that's it. I'm actually stupid. I can just change the file here actually. So let's say let's say I change the file here automatically. Maybe I just save it, and you can see it changed automatically here. Stupid, but so TLDR just now, you can just change your graphic just by changing your physical file itself. Okay, so for tables, for tables, you put your actual table below the table labeling. So what you do is you click below the table labeling to add the table. You just click insert table here beside the insert graphics. Select the table size that you want, and you can you have your table. You can write everything here. Then for table settings, for the border of the table and everything, you can play around the bottom part here. So here is where you set your tables basically. So this here, I think you guys can play around and just see everything about yourself. So then okay, for equation for equation, it is the same thing. Here you directly insert math. So on the left side of the insert graphic, you got insert math. Here you just click it and you have your equation. So here you can just write anything. So a minus b equal to c. Like that. And for the equation setting, everything is down here. So for symbols, like you got a lot of symbols, you got the pi symbol, you got square root, cube root, everything. You can, yeah, this is like the equation toolbox that you can have. So yeah, that is for figure and table. Then we need to format it basically. So why? Because your figure and table right now, if you were to need to close it first. If you were to generate it, your figure and oh yeah, the error due to the list basically. So that okay. So chapter 7 here. So okay, yep. As you can see, the figure float. Sorry. As you can see, the figure float here, as you place it below this line of text. So you place it below figure, float, figure graphic. You place it here. This is where you place your figure, but now it runs down here. Same to your table, you place it here, but now it runs to the next page on its own. And that's the whole page for the whole table, which is not good at all. So equation is fine, it was on the right place, but not in the middle. So the problem with them is that they are not really centered. This is actually not centered. This is also not centered. As you can see, it is on the side. Actually, I put border actually, yeah. So yeah, they are all not centered and they can run to other places basically. So how to format them so that usually when you put figure here, you expect them to appear here. So we are going to format them so that we can fix their places. We can fix them so that they appear on the place where you put this figure float or table float, and also make them center. To do that, you will need to do the float setting. You can, okay, here you can do the float setting before you insert the figure or graphic first, also can. I think I should just use comma. Yeah, I should just use comma. So yeah, I should just use comma. So yeah, now back to the float setting. So to set it to the centered and also on the place that you want it to be, what you do is you right click on the float setting. Then here, this is the two setting that we need to do. So first is the position on page, which is where it appears. Here you're going to change it from document default to custom. Here definitely. And then alignment of the content, you go center. Then you apply and yeah, it will be there. For the table, also the same. You will go custom, here definitely center. And if you want, you can just click this immediate apply. So should click the immediate apply first, I think. Oops. Whoops. Nope. Maybe not. Okay. So custom here definitely center apply. Immediate apply. Think that should work. I'm not sure. But yeah, now your table and figure is centered and also it should appear on where you put them. Close it, save it, and preview it again. Yep. Now as you can see, you put the figure below this line of code and it appear there. You put the table below this line of text and it appear there as well. Oh, sorry. And for equation, if you want to make them to center, you right click on the equation itself and you click display formula. So this one is display formula. Then it will be on the center. Easy. Okay. Yeah, so now everything is on the center already. Then okay, Then we are going to talk about cross references basically. So yeah. So the next one that we need to set is label, and okay, so the label is for cross references. Here is also the same. We're going to set a label for cross references. Here, yeah, is equation label. Also for cross references. Why? Is because when, let's say, you write a text, you write a sentence, maybe sometimes you will need to use like based on figure something and figure something, table something, and equation something. So you want to refer to this figure, you want to refer to this table, you want to refer to this equation. So how to do it without manually typing, like I don't even remember what is this figure numbering at all. So how to do it is basically first you will need to insert label. Yeah, also forgot to say label also works on chapter and section. So labels also works on chapter or section. So we're gonna do it as well. So okay, to add labels is for chapter, section, figures, and table, they are all the same, which is this button right here, insert label. So let's say if in the future I might need to refer to my chapter 7. So I insert a label here. Here you can name it anything that you want. So for me, I usually name, maybe for example, I just name CH 7 numbered. As soon as you are able to recognize what this name means to you, yeah, what you need to, you can name it anything. As soon as you are able to know that this name refer to this chapter exactly, then it should be fine. So what was that? Here. So chapter 7, then maybe for section, you could do subsection as well, but maybe I do here, so section or subsection would do. So yeah, subsection, so you can name it anything, so maybe SS numbered, it should be 7, I think, 7, maybe. You can name it anything basically. Then okay, for table, the label should, for me, I like to put the, wait, where's my figure actually? Oh, we do again. So label for the chapter, make sure your cursor is on the chapter itself. Click insert label, give it a name that you want. So for me, maybe like 7 numbered. Yeah. Then for this subsection, I will do it again as well. Maybe something like that. And then for figures and table, where I usually put this label is I put it on the uh, figure, labeling itself. So here, maybe I put it here. So label, oh yeah, inside the box for me. I put it inside the box. So FIG maybe. So maybe I would write this thing as tar-umt. So I know this figure is referring to tar-umt figure. And for this table, maybe I just insert, I will go example maybe. So I know this table is just an example table. So either way, you just name anything that will make you know what is this table or what this figure talks about. And then yeah, that is for chapter, section, subsection, figures, table, all the same way. For equation, it is a little different. So what you need to do is you need to right click on the equation, click on this equation label. So here you can label it anything. So EQ, maybe ABC, I don't know. Huh. Yeah. I think just like my cursor moved away, so that's why it won't work. But yeah, this should be what it appears. This is what the proper equation label should look like. So after you add the label, let's say you want to refer them. So let's say based on figure, this figure is what you want to refer. So what you do now is after you add the label, you can click on this cross references, insert cross references. Here you can see the chapter, the section, the figure, the table, and all of the labels that you put will appear here. So let's say now I want to put the figure label, so I just click on this, apply. Then for table, maybe I want to use this table, so I just apply on the table. So maybe for equation, I will apply this thing. So yeah, later on, do take note on the equation part. As you can see, I written an equation here, and this is my equation, cross references. Then for chapter also the same, chapter I want here, and section maybe I use this subsection as an example. So this is all, this is how you do labels and cross references. So first step, put the labels at where you want to label them, where you want to cross reference them in the future. For chapter, just put them on the same line on the chapter or the section. Then for figures, put with inside this figure labeling box. For tables, put inside this table labeling box. For equation, right click and click equation label and give the equation label a name lah, basically. So with that, we can preview it to see the example. Okay, so yeah, so you see figure 7.1, table 7.1, equation 7-1, and this is your text. This is the text where I cross-reference them. So figure 7-1, table 7-1, equation 7-1. Oops. Okay, so for the equation, as you can see here, equation, you can see this sentence, equation 7-1. Basically, for equation, what I want to say is you don't need to write this equation word out. For figures, table, chapter, and section, you might need to. Sometimes you don't, which I'm not sure what triggers it. But yeah, for equation, usually you don't need to write the equation, the word equation itself. If not, it will be like here, it will appear twice. So that is that. And yeah, but this is how you do the label and cross references. And as you can see, the cross references is all correct, and you can click it so that it will take you to the place where this figure, this table appear. That's the good thing about it. Then let's say if I add a new figure, maybe I don't want to replace. Can't I just, yeah, let's say I have another figure. Let's say I have another figure in anywhere. Wait, no. Yeah, let's say I have another figure here. So figure flood, I got figure labeling tool. Then I add a new figure, 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter this time. Then settings. Yeah, immediate apply doesn't work, so not sure why. Yeah, either way. Yeah, if let's say I have another new figure right now, so when you write your report, sometimes you realize you need to add new figures or new things before this whole thing. Don't worry about it, because even if I add it in, so now this figure is changed to figure 7-2. Your cross references will also change accordingly. So yeah, you don't need to worry about it. That's all I want to demonstrate here. So yeah, at the very least, up until now, what you have learned is how to add how to do chapter, how to do sectioning, how to use the list, how to properly format figures, how to properly format tables, how to properly format equation. And yeah, basically those. Actually you are all good to go basically. But one last thing, for figures and tables, that you should, that I would suggest we're going to teach you is short title. To add short title. Short title. Why? Basically, this is to avoid references issue. So yeah. So what does that means actually? So sometimes it happens, sometimes it didn't happen. This is not a thing that I also know why it happens or why it didn't happen, but it just like that. So yeah, let's say as an example, I'm going to add a bunch of references before this whole part. So just as an experiment, I'm not sure it happens or not. But let's say I add all of these example in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe until master thesis. I don't know. Apply. This is not the right way to add the references, as I mentioned in the second video, I think, in the references video. But this is just for testing purposes. So here, okay, yeah, ignore this figure. I think I'm gonna delete it. So here, let's say sometimes when you do the figure or the table, you need to you have references on it. So let's say here I got one references, which is the website one, right? And here I have one references for the report, let's say, apply. I yeah, I don't think you guys would know which one is which later on. So let's see. Let's just make some, like, yeah, let's just make two references that you guys know. Okay, so maybe I go this thing as 1, this thing as 2. This is just for you, just as an example. So maybe here I would write my name as the company, as the organization. Here would be another one of my name as the second company references. And yeah, the rest don't care, but at least my name is, yeah, there. So save. So here maybe I change it to, yeah, test 1, apply, and test 2. Okay, so here is what we are going to test. So basically you have a bunch of references before this figure and this table. And so in the reference list, if the bug occur, let's see on our own. I'm not sure will it appear or not, but yeah, it didn't appear this time. So yeah, this time, yeah, oh no, it did appear. Okay, so here, okay, so this test 1 and test 2 for the figure and table, as you can see, is with the 2 with my name 1. So, and if you can see here, 1 to 8, of course, because this is added first, so this is 1 to 8, correct. These references, reference 9, is also correct because, after, let's say, before this, you got 8 references here, and this should be the references number 9, it is correct. This should be references number 10, this is correct. But if you go down to the references list, you can see that the order flipped actually, because this, the one with the Chan Huan Ing, the name here, should be number 9, should be references number 9. It appeared as number 1 somehow. So something went wrong somewhere. Why this bug occur is probably because in your list of figures and list of table, these two appear first. So you see 9, you see 10 here. They treat this thing as references number 1 in the list of reference. And they treat the 10 in the list of tables here, this thing, as references number 2. Wait, we can click it. Yeah, it treat the 10 as references number 2 in the list of references, which is something that is completely wrong. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of the references here and here in the list of table and in the list of figure. How to do it is we are going to use something called as short title. So to add short title, what I do is, yeah, your cursor should be inside this box anywhere. For me, I would do, either after the labels or before the labels. That's how I usually do it. So let's say I do after the label. To add the short title, what you need to do is you right click on the box, short title. So here, as you can see, it will generate the title without the references. And if you see like additional spaces, because here you have a space here, so the space remain, but here you don't want the space, so you just delete it. And for the table, also the same. So click on, click to make sure your text cursor is inside the box. Then right click, short title, and yeah, make sure your short title is correct. Then with this short title, what it does is that when you generate the list of figure and table, it will use the short title instead of the full title. So the full title will be used in the figure itself, but the list of figure will only use short title. So in your short title, there won't be any references. So we expect the references issue should now be fixed. So we save and we preview. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, here as you can see, there is no more references number 9. Here also no more references number 9. And if we click it, you can see reference number 1. Yeah, I know lies the issue. Save it, close the whole thing, open it again. Sometimes, yeah, the issue is there. So then we preview. Okay. So back to it again. List of figure, list of table, there is no references number 9 and 10. You click on it. Yeah, now it is correct. So sometimes the bug appear because you don't close it and you don't reopen it. So if there is an issue that you feel like you have already done everything, don't forget to just close and reopen the LyX software. Sometimes it just works. Okay, either way. So now here 1 to 8 is correct. So assuming that you have 8 references before this figure, now this is reference number 9 is reference number 10. And we go down to list of references or references. This is now the correct thing. Why? Is because my figure with references number 9 is referring to this thing. My name here, which is correct. And the 10 also, but this name, which is correct as well. So yeah, in short conclusion, if your figures actually use references in text citation, I also recommend you to do short title just to ensure that your references list is generated according to the order of the references that you put here. Otherwise, it might happen like what we saw just now, the bug that occurred. These two things, these 9 and 10, actually move up as 1 and 2, which is wrong. So yeah, this is all. This is the proper way. The full complete way to format figures, table, and equation. So with that, we completed everything. I completed sharing on the basics of the LyX software basically. So there is still a lot of function that I didn't talk about, like index, nomenclature, and everything here. But yeah, feel free to just explore anywhere because sometimes it might help you. So let's see, maybe a few extra things that I tend to use is this thing. If you want to add a note for yourself, so this note right here, you can write anything, you can write literally anything. Just to maybe makes you remember. So maybe let's say in this chapter I need to like change figure something. So I scared I will forgot it, so that's why I add a note. This note right here will not appear in your report at all. So if you were to generate it, yeah, unnumbered chapter here, you add a note here, but it didn't appear inside this report. So if you want to use note to just maybe write something to remind yourself in the future, or you want to like track your progress, you can do that. So that is the function for note. And if you in the future, maybe when you want to do like very specific kind of formatting on the table especially, or on anywhere else on the text as well, on the tables or anything, oh yeah, true, let's say I want to do, yeah, I mean like 3 meter per second square, yeah, 3 meter per second square, I mean let acceleration be, I mean, just as an example. So let's say you need to write a superscript, basically. So you cannot really write superscript in LaTeX, at least from my knowledge. So the way for you to write superscript is using text code. Basically, this is when you want to add LaTeX code. So to add LaTeX code, what you need to do is you start with, yeah, you press the text here, insert text code. Then the first thing you need to do is use this dash. For superscript, what you need to do is text superscript curly bracket 2, let's say. So with that, you can now wait, did I spell anything wrong? One second. Text. Wait, is it just no SCORIPT, is it? Yeah, my typo. Okay, so where is it? It should be here. So there you can write your superscript. So if you want to write subscript, then this thing you can use slash text subscript, CRITT subscript, maybe I don't know, let acceleration A for maybe object I mean initial acceleration. So if you want to use subscript, you can do that, text subscript. And if you want to make italic, let's say you want the acceleration A to be italic, then you can also do slash text IT for italic A. If you want to use bold, you can do slash text BD. Is it, wait, I think you can do bold. Yeah, so bold in default you can do it in LaTeX, but for italic and subscript and superscript you cannot. So if I try italic, I cannot. So I am now pressing Ctrl I, but it doesn't work. If I press Ctrl B, which is for the bold, it works. So yeah, at the very least, this is how you add italic, superscript, and subscript in your text. So this is when you want to do specific formatting on your text or on your table, or if you want to add any sort of formatting code on your FYP report because you need it, then text code is here. So yeah, with that, I think I can actually say I have already teach most of the basics and maybe some, what happened? Subscript. Yep, typo. So with that, I think I have already teach all of the basics plus some of the like extra things that you can do for the extra practices. You can use a note to make note of anything that you want. You can use text code to do some of the formatting. And yeah, here. So italic A, subscript I, and superscript 2. So that is how you use it lah. So as a quick recap, I mean we are done, but as a quick recap, what you have learned from here is that you learn how to do chaptering, chapter section, and chapter and sectioning, also how to use the list, and if possible, don't use the list until like too deeply nested. If what is it? Yeah, if possible, don't try to do a deeply nested list, otherwise there will be error just now. And then you also learn how to properly do figures, table, and equation. With making sure that there won't be any references issue with the short title if you have using in-text citation. Here, you also learn how to use label and to do cross references. And lastly, you also learn, the notes and also the text code. So that's all for the third video and final video probably. If there is any amendment, I will make amendment video on it. And yeah, hopefully good luck on FYP writing.